Hey fuggers, what's up? Today we got some news about the March of the Lich King mini set, so I just wanted to go over that with you guys and give you my thoughts on it. If you want to be a fugger too, go ahead and subscribe to my channel down below, and while you're down there you can drop a like and maybe leave a comment too. And go ahead and hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date on all of my new content, which I will be posting weekly for Hearthstone and Marvel Snap. And if I get enough support from you guys, I will also start a third weekly series of your choice. So if there's something you really want to see me play, make sure you're subscribing so you can be part of the poll when that goes live. So the new expansion is based in Naxxramas, which is pretty cool. When I played WoW, which I didn't play much of, but I did play a little bit of, my favorite areas were always the undead areas, so it's pretty cool to see Naxxramas getting some more representation in the game. I mean, it was expected we were going to get like an undead area, considering Death Knight. They're really connected to undead, so we were probably going to go somewhere with undead, so it's not like surprising. But it is really cool that it's Naxxramas again. I'm wondering if they're going to make a new Kel'Thuzad card, because they've had several already now. So a third one this soon after Scholomance Academy seems kind of weird, but it'd also be kind of weird not to have Kel'Thuzad in an Naxxramas set, so I don't know. So the idea, based on like the imagery that we've seen so far on Twitter and here at the bottom of the page, you can see some more. No, I guess, okay, never mind. It was just on Twitter. I thought they had the images from Twitter here too. Um, so Naxxramas is attacking Silvermoon, basically. Like the floating castle is impending on the city, stuff like that. So that's a pretty cool theme. It also means we're probably going to see more Silvermoon elves, so we're going to see more Mana Thirst stuff, which is expected. It's the last mini set of the year. They usually revisit the mechanics from throughout the year in the last mini set, so that's not too surprising. And it is important to note that this time this mini set is actually, it's 38 new cards instead of 35. That's going to be because of Death Knight being introduced recently. They added new cards so that Death Knight can catch up a little bit to the other classes in their card pool. So that's nice. And you've got all the normal purchasing options, so your 2,000 gold or 1,500 rune stones, and they've got the golden version with the diamond legendary. They do not reveal here what diamond legendary is included with the golden mini set. I haven't checked the client yet to see if you can pre-order it. I don't remember if they do pre-orders for the mini sets though, so I'm not sure. But yeah, the diamond legendary, as far as I know, hasn't been revealed. I'm pretty sure that's all there is to talk about for this mini set reveal other than the cards, so let's get to the cards. Alright, first on the list is Frost Queen Sindragosa. Now this card is very interesting because, first of all, it's a Colossal, which a lot of people were speculating might be in the new set because it was a mechanic from the year, so they would reuse it because they usually reuse mechanics from throughout the year. And also, Death Knight didn't have a Colossal minion, so them getting a Colossal minion is actually a pretty big deal because they have a pretty unique synergy with a lot of things. I mean, to be honest, Death Knight doesn't really have any ways to summon minions from hand or from deck yet that are specific to them, so like those synergies aren't really relevant in Death Knight, but eventually they might be. So there's that. And you can always Faceless Manipulator, stuff like that, which is useful on Colossal minions, because you get the limbs too. Now, with Frost Queen Sindragosa, she seems to be a pretty useful removal card. She has 2/2/1 rush wings, as you can see here. They freeze any character damaged by them, which means you get to trade into 2 things immediately, up to 2 things. It could be 1 thing, except it can't because of the other ability of the card, which is that Frost Queen Sindragosa, after a minion is frozen, destroys it. So these 2 wings are immediately destroying 2 minions that you're trading into. Or you can just play her as a threat and have 2/2/1s they can go face. And freeze face. That can be important against something like another Death Knight playing weapons, or a Demon Hunter. Demon Hunters try to, make a lot of swings with their face, so shutting that down can be really valuable. And another thing is that this card can be played with other freezes. Now, important to note, the only board freeze that Death Knight has at the moment is Frostworm's Fury, and unless I'm wrong, Frostworm's Fury is triple frost, if I remember correctly. And it's important because Sindragosa is actually a dual rune card. The first one we've actually seen. It's a Blood Frost card, which is very interesting. I would have expected Unholy Frost, if I'm being honest, because it's an undead. That just seems more unholy to me, but I guess it's a control card, so it kind of fits with blood too. Now, what's important about this to me, though, is that you are giving up the ability to run Soul Stealer if you're playing a blood deck for this card. That doesn't seem worth it to me, so I don't think any sort of control deck like Blood would consider this. But what it can do is maybe create some sort of hybrid list where you play double Frost and Sindragosa as your payoff for running 1 Blood Rune. That's a thought. I haven't looked at the entire card pool to see what you get out of 1 Blood Rune, but it might be worth it. I know you get Patchwork, and that's pretty good. So, we'll see. Now, the next card on our list is another mechanic that the Death Knight class missed, just barely, which is a Death Knight location. Now, this is another thing a lot of people were expecting, especially if you looked on custom Hearthstone. Designs for Death Knight locations were everywhere. So many people thought that Death Knight was going to get a location, and especially since locations aren't really a set mechanic, they were a new card type. So the dev team specifically said that they're going to be making more locations in the future in future sets. I was honestly surprised we didn't see any locations in the actual main set for March of the Lich King. I really expected to see some. But this location is very interesting because what it does is create some Death Rattle synergy in Death Knight. Previously, their cards like this would transform stuff and things like that, or they had stuff like Vrykul adds a Death Rattle that adds a 2/2 to the board. But this pops a Death Rattle, which means you can use stuff like Foul Egg to get some really good value in the early game. This seems like it might be disgusting in Standard, if I'm being honest, especially because you also get a 4/5 out of the deal. Imagine getting a 4/5 and whatever you want out of the Death Rattle on turn 3. That's so good. This card, to me, just seems insane. It seems like it's going to be part of every aggro Demon Hunter that isn't even Demon Hunter. On that note, it might even make an odd... Did I say Demon Hunter? I meant Death Knight. It might even make an odd Death Knight viable. It's something I've looked at in the past, and it was almost there, not quite good enough. Maybe this makes something happen there. Alright, next card up is a card I'm not quite as excited about. It's still solid, but I'd be a lot more excited if this were 2 mana. It is a 3 mana 2/3, Rimescale Siren, and it has Battle Cry. If you've cast 3 spells while holding this, freeze 3 random enemy minions. Now, what's not exciting to me about this is that this is 1 mana less than the weapon. I can't remember the name of it. Something of Menethil? Frost of Menethil, maybe? But that card already has this effect for the cost of 3 corpses. That seems much easier to achieve than casting 3 spells while holding a minion. We've seen cards like this before with like Handmaiden and Priest, and they tend to go off in kind of the mid-game, so this card isn't really going to be like early tempo. It could be like stall for the mid-game for some sort of combo deck, so maybe Triple Frost would play this to try and help freeze out their opponent for longer, so they can keep punching face with their minions and their spells. That's a possible avenue for this. But it just seems worse than the weapon does. Honestly, 3 corpses seems like such a lower cost. Then again, this is just a bonus. You're still getting the effect of the spells, so it's possible that this is really good and I'm just way off the mark here. And I don't think it's bad. I just don't think it's that good. I don't think it's crazy. Next up is the new iteration of Rivendare Warrider. Now, this card is insane. I don't really know if it's going to be good, because it's 6 mana, and at 6 mana it's coming out so late in the game, and then you have to draw these cards. Maybe I should explain the effect real quick first. So, it's a 6 mana 6/6 with Death Rattle. Shuffle the other 3 horsemen into your deck. So, if you remember the card Uther from Knights of the Frozen Throne, that card allowed you to summon the horsemen as your hero power, and if you had all 4 on board at once, you would destroy the enemy hero. This is very similar in effect to that, except instead of summoning them all on the board at once, you just need them all to have died. The key difference here, though, is that they are all 6 mana 6/6s. Now, the ones following Rivendare do have keywords, so it's not like they have no impact at all. They're somewhat useful cards. It's possible that this is just a good control card, and you just have a late game win condition that's inevitable, like Quest Priest. That might work. But trying to do this quickly for some sort of combo TK just doesn't seem feasible to me. It's just so expensive, and the 3 cards are shuffled into the deck, so you have to draw them and play them. It's just so slow. But it is a control win condition, so it does have that avenue for success. I do think it's a good card in that environment. We just need to see if there's a slow enough format where control is going to be able to thrive. Because these cards are good outside of the OTK. They're just good on their own. A 6 mana 6/6 with Lifesteal is a decent card. That one's probably the worst. Then you have a Rush and a Taunt. Those ones are a lot better. A lot more impact. A 6/6 Taunt in 2023 isn't really the best play for 6 mana, but it's not like a game-losing play. You're going to be able to play these cards, no problem, if you're playing a control deck. It should be fine. You should be able to fit it in between removal. You should be able to move towards your win condition. It should be working in that environment. That's what I think. Alright, now on to the star ratings. Sindragosa is a 4-star card. Contruct Quarter is a 5-star card. Rimescale Siren is a 3-star card. Rivendare Warrider is a 3-star card. Thank you for listening. This is, of course, my opinion. I could be way off base on these cards, but I just wanted to share what I thought. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I'll catch you all next time. Stay safe. Peace.